I think it's important as a business owner to be a designer and have some sort of ability to do graphic design to, one, make your stuff look nice, and two, be able to build sales materials, merchandise, signage. There's so much stuff that you can do with a baseline level of graphic design that allows you to move a lot faster and have just a bit more of a hand in your brands. What we're looking at here, the first thing is this is the class schedule. So we changed our class schedule, and so we had to redesign some of our sales materials. But what I did is I made this one in the beginning so I could just go in, I could just rechange the name of the class and we would be able to fly this pretty quickly. We upload this to a company, they print us like a poster board. So it ends up being like a bigger sort of thing that you can hold and you can visually work through when you're talking to a prospect about the different times. So this is just knocking it out, in maybe 45 minutes, a one-time template. And now we've got that. Anytime we have a class change, we just go ahead and update that. And what I do is I use Illustrator, I export it as a PDF, and then I load it up. The second thing I want to show you is we got some sick ass merch coming through, Allegiant Physical Culture. We're doing this two-tone vintage athletic hat with Arc Font, Physical Culture, Los Angeles right underneath. It's gonna be embroidered on this hat. And that just got me really thinking about, like, it would be dope to have a t-shirt to drop this with as well. So this is what the new t-shirt's gonna look like. Now, I'm not like a merch designer. I am now just by doing it for so much, but I just kind of hacked my way through figuring out how to do this. And it's not that hard to do, right? So this is the final product here. On the front, we've just got, nice and clean. On the back, program, community, space, experience, highest quality strength training. We got the logo. Then what I do is in the PDF, I attach the exact sizes of the outline design that I want. So there's like no miscommunication or anything like that with the design team who actually fabricates it. And how I figured out doing this is what I do is in Illustrator, I'll make it. So let me show you what that looks like. So I'll make it right here in Illustrator. And what I can do is I can go in, if you click this and then you hit transform, it'll tell you over here this width is 11. So if I wanted to change that to say 8, that'll shrink the design size down to the actual exact size that you want it to be. And then how you figure it out is you just print it on 8.5 by 11. Then I just set it on a t-shirt and I just kind of either tape it or I look in the mirror, set it down and say like, okay, is that the right size, too big, too small? And then I'll have an idea when I ship that over to the design team or the fabrication team, because I've done merch in the past where you kind of like leave it up to them and it doesn't come back exactly what you visualized it being. And honestly, like a couple inch or even like a half inch or a quarter inch difference on some of these things, like when it's the only design or the only thing there, it can make a massive difference on like if it actually lands the way that you want it to go. And then on the back, I do the same thing. I want it to be proportional. So the font size on this one is going to be the exact same size as the font size on the front. And it ends up being like 10.35 inches wide by 8 inches tall. So that'll be pretty big and beefy on the back. But when people are walking around town, you'll be able to see that logo. You'll be able to see exactly what it is. And it becomes just a great way for folks to represent the brand, but also free advertising for us. So a punchline on this one is like, I think with Canva, so many people use Canva now. My wife, Michelle, she makes dope designs through Canva. That's probably an easier place to start if you don't do this already. I just love Creative Cloud and Adobe, and I've just gotten used to that, so that's what I use, but by no means is that the only one that you have to do. Now, the next steps on this, I put this sort of tech pack together for our fabricator. I give him the exact specs, I give him the exact sizes of the designs, and then I'll go in here and this will be like the actual cogs where I figure out what the pricing, what the markup is. We'll make enough money on these shirts. And even if staff buys them at a 30% discount, we're not losing any money. So basically this is sort of how I look at the spreadsheet. I got the front, the back. I'm gonna call this, just the style name is gonna be Physical Culture. And then you've got the size breaks. So I basically do this now is I take all those, I divide by 3 because we have 3 locations and we'll drop ship to each of them. So I do small unit runs, right? I got only 2 extra smalls, 2 smalls going to each location, 10 mediums, 10 larges, and 5 extra larges and 1 double XL for my big homies. I'll be able to put together, what the costs are, what the margins are, and then I'll have an idea of what we're getting into when we go ahead and hit the go button and purchase this whole thing.